can't talk to you yet until I get my thumbs up. What's up, Zach? How you guys doing? Led, what do you got, Led?
Got a lot here.
Go ahead, buddy.
No, Denver's defense. Trying to learn as much as I could about them over the last 48 hours.
Playing extremely well. Obviously coordinated by Vance Joseph. Obviously a guy I got a lot of respect for. Has seen a lot in this league. Had a bunch of time in Arizona. Was the head coach at Denver before. Spent a lot of time with Wade Phillips in his younger years. Has been really made his name and living off his man-match system, and then some of his blitzes at times that were able to come home and do some different things that they did with Wade. Obviously, Wade went out to L.A., took that system out that way. Obviously, the Fangio-Wade system has kind of crossed paths somewhat, and you'll be able to see a little bit of the different ways and some of the things he's taken and making his own out there in Denver. But he does such a great job of everything with his defense and absolutely getting those guys to play fast. Got a big-time D-line. All those guys can beat you in the pass rush. They have the ability to rush from each position. Obviously their kid inside is playing unbelievable lights-out football at the inside positions with Franklin Myers and all those different guys. On the outside, the young kids, Benito and all those kind of guys has been really rushing really well. Young Ohio State out there, those guys have been doing such a great job. And then obviously they got, first or second best corner in the league between him and our guy. Mm-hmm. Don't tell Ramsey I said that.
And we'll not do that. How are you injury-wise? You said you didn't feel great about the two tackles there, or in the tackle.
Yeah, TQ, you'll see it later, but not great. Obviously, we'll have to make some significant changes there, and more likely won't see him this week. Then we actually talked about James into the game, and obviously we'll put the report out and what it's going to be, but not feeling great there, like I mentioned before. So probably won't see those guys. But, other than that, Troy made it through the game or came out of the game but went back in, was able to come back in. So we'll get another clearance of weekend for him. So hopefully one more week he'll be a lot better, a lot stronger, a lot faster, a lot more physically into it, and keeping him progressing into the ways we wanted to get him. To get back to Troy, I do this all day, so you got to excuse me for anybody else you want to talk about.
So Troy, you're thinking you're going to hold him out this week?
No, I'm not thinking that. I'm not thinking that right now. I'm thinking he'll be out there and take another stab at it and see what we can do. See how far we can get him going, Josh.
Rob, when it comes to Bo's progression as a quarterback, he had 4 picks his first 2 games, but just 2 of these final 8. Is that one of the best things he's doing as a rookie, just taking care of the ball? Because other things you've seen there successfully with him at quarterback?
I think it starts with Sean. I got to give him a lot of credit first just for Sean has always been known to get his quarterback easy completions. He's found a way to get his guys completions, found a way to get those guys comfortable, knowing exactly where to go and be able to do all the proper things. And then Bo, getting a chance to know him personally, I know what type of listener he is. I know how well he can pick up those things and develop. So I got a lot of respect for him just throughout the draft process of being able to go work with him just a little bit and find out who he is and what he's about. And he's done a great job of using his legs. I think he's really taken the league by storm with his ability to run and all those type of things. And him finding easy completions and being able to do those things has been something they've done really well, and they're getting better and better at every single week, and that's why they've been so competitive.
Not having TQ and James, those guys play a good amount, especially James on the edge. What kind of changes are you expecting, and what kind of tweaks can you make?
Obviously you'll miss James and TQ both. Just you're talking about real physical presence and with our run game, real physical presence with our rush and with our push, real physical presence with our hustle and our effort, and then just definitely, leadership type qualities that they both possess will definitely be missed. But, that's the reason I talked about the depth of that defensive line, the possible emergence of Dorless, all types of things that you got from a front standpoint that you can do. And in the outside linebacker position, hoping to get back Zoe and some of those type of people this week to be some of those different things. And we got a bunch of different options that we can do. Obviously, potentially opening those windows, doing those different things this week with him.
Do you see Dorless maybe being active?
It's a good chance. Obviously you got to go to the practice week and do some of those different things and find out what it is. But to talk about Dorless, he's done a magnificent job in practice. In the preparation for these moments that we talked about a couple weeks ago about our rookies and those guys been really learning. Remember, Rook was able to pick those things up, got in the game, ended up getting an injury, and now maybe a little bit of time for Dorless. Who knows?
You guys have been a really good second half team this year, made some good adjustments at halftime, both sides of the ball. For some reason, the first half, there have been some slow starts. I think last week, 26 yards in the first quarter. What do you owe that to?
I don't really think this week was necessarily the first half. This week was like the first drive, and then the guys kind of settled down and got some things going. You don't know. You got to start faster. You got to figure out how to come out and start fast. Jimmy Lake made a big emphasis of his meeting today. He had a couple visual clips for those guys. I'll save that for his press conference tomorrow. But it is just about starting a little bit faster and getting those guys to come out. And like the whole process this year, those guys getting more confident and playing faster, I think it's just a part of it. So like, I love the growth mindset that they're going to. That's got to be something that we focus on this week. You don't like to necessarily go out there and say start fast, because then what if you don't? Like, oh, let's go in the tank. We didn't start fast. That's not how it goes. You got to go out there and still finish the game. But you like to start fast. You like to finish faster.
Raheem, when you talk about those running abilities, is it more about his ability to pick up yardage with his legs, or extending plays and creating that second play?
It's been both. It's been really shocking. You always knew he can extend plays of what he did in college, things of that nature. But he's had some actual designed runs for him. He's actually had a couple different things that looks like, the new age running quarterback, which you didn't necessarily give him credit for. Really, I didn't before this year. And I always knew he could run, knew he's an athlete, knew he's pretty good with those things. But to see him bring that stuff to life in the pros is different.
And it seems like because of that, the RPO package has been a little part of their game plan. What, from a defensive perspective, what does that force you guys to do when you play an offense that utilizes that?
Obviously it becomes more of the college system, so to speak. That's not what Sean necessarily did, but he's a great coach like most guys do, and they do what that quarterback can do or what they have done and what they have success with. So him having a little bit of success with that in college, he carried it over. So for us, that just makes you play a little more matchy, make you play a little sticky. It brings those rundowns to life more. That's a part of extension of their run game. So you get ready to stop that with the run. So the run now is not just the handing off from the quarterback, but it's also some of the throws that you provide. It's also some of the things that you provide with their run alerts or their pass alerts or things of that nature. But just got to go out there and play defense like we've been doing. It's kind of just becoming normal in the National Football League right now with that kind of a run game. But it's just not as normal for a guy like Sean to have to put it in.
Hey, Coach, how do you prepare for Denver when there's so many other factors to consider beyond the X's and O's, the long flight, the temperature change, the weather, the altitude, the open stadium, just to name a few?
The preparation is definitely a part of it, and that's definitely done with our development team that we talk about. We always talk about the travel. We always talking about when we travel, how do we keep our guys on a normal rhythm and routine, how we make sure our health is clicking in, particularly when you talk about playing our now 11th straight regular season game, and how do you get those guys ready to go with the physicality of it, how do you bring them back, how do you rest, how do you recover, and how do you get these guys to bounce back and be ready to play. So all those things come into factor on our preparation on what we do on the field, how we walk through, how we practice fast, how we go faster on Friday, how we slow it back down, and how we get to those guys feeling the best that they possibly can feel and ready to go at a high level performance to start fast, to finish fast, and to play the right way and to play how we want to play going into this bye.
And also, Coach, with Justin Simmons going back to his hometown, if you will, whenever a player or a coach has a homecoming, if you will, is that an extra motivation to win?
I don't know if you can have extra motivation to win. That's tough. Like for us, I think you just want to win, but like you always want to win when you got a guy like Justin because of the high quality character human that you're talking about, and you're taking him back to a place that he played a significant amount of time in his career at, and obviously we got lucky enough to be able to get him in the process. So how nice would it be to go out there and get a win for Justin and his family that's out there right now cheering him on and hopefully having a chance to come see him play this week.
What was the reception to Jimmy's visual presentation that you mentioned?
I think it was excitement. I don't want to steal his thunder because then you give him something to talk about tomorrow. But it was excitement, and it was it was nice. It's always entertaining when coaches find different ways to show their revelations of starting fast. It's pretty cool.
Now I need to hear more.
Nope, can't do it. Won't do it.
Did you have much crossover with Luther Ellis for y'all's?
I did not crossover, I wouldn't say, but obviously.
Kind of known each other.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but know an Ellis. It's a million of them.
Right.
The first time I get a chance to coach one, and he's a ball.
Are there any similarities between Caden and Luther as much as you know?
I mean, all of those guys, just like, all competitors, athletes, freaks, don't know what position they really play. Got a lot of traits, a lot of similarities.
Did y'all meet with Jonah in the draft process?
I was hoping to go steal him, but Denver got him. But love Jonah. He did a nice job, obviously, in all the preparation stuff. Obviously, was a guy considered high on our board because fit our ethos, the style of play, the character, the guy, the human. Had some insight on him. You know, all of those things. So, like, obviously, looking forward to obviously the brother-on-brother matchup. Should be fun.
Looking at the tape, what kind of threat does Patrick Surtain pose?
Patrick Surtain, like we just mentioned him earlier in the press conference, he's one of the top guys in the league. And you can put your order out there and piss off whoever you want to piss off. But, you know, you're talking about elite group of guys that go against the very highly paid players in our league every single week and well-deserved. And, like, these guys go out there and compete at high levels. And, you know, I forget who I was talking to, but only tackles and corners, they're the most highly scrutinized people in our game, right? I mean, other than kickers, right? But tackles and corners every single week, that's the eye-popping thing that you see, whether the guy covered them or the guy gave up a sack. And it's like those guys get scrutinized the most. So, like, the people that play those positions, I got a high level of respect for. And Surtain is no different. You're talking about ethos guy. You're talking about a character guy. You're talking about lineage. You're talking about skill set. You're talking about everything that you want in those top, upper, elite type of guys, particularly playing corner and physical, can do it all. And he was fun to watch coming out, and he's fun to watch now.
With all your experience in the secondary, is there a player that he reminds you of or anything like that?
You never want to really compare those guys because, like, you know, somebody could take it as disrespect, but you always compare those guys to the people that you coach with the elite skill sets that he has. And then obviously Jalen was obviously always comes to mind when it comes to that stuff. The only thing that I hadn't seen him do that Jalen does is move inside and play some of the nickel stuff, just like AJ and all those type of guys. You know, AJ, you gave comparisons to all the different people that were playing at a high level and doing some elite things at the time. But it's always hard to compare them. You know, just don't do the exact same things. You don't get a chance to coach them. But from afar, he looked like he was doing a lot of the Jalen type things, particularly when we were playing in the same defenses when he's being coached by Ejiro out there. And he was doing some of the things that we were having Jalen do other than go inside and play some of the star position.
Knowing how much Vance Joseph likes to disguise looks, crowd the line of scrimmage, create chaos, is this a week where Kirk's experience in the league is even more of an advantage because he can diagnose some of that stuff?
Well, hard to say even more because I don't know if you can ever, like, say his experience and the things that he diagnosed and the things that he does for us at the line of scrimmage is not at an elite trait, you know. But when you get Kirk dialed in and he is decisive on what they're doing so he can click through his progressions to get us to our play so we can go out there and execute at a high level, that's always the best way to operate with a guy like Kirk. And it's definitely helpful when you're playing a guy that can do as much as Vance and some of the things that he can do to confuse you in a scheme standpoint. And like I said, so much respect for both sides of that, that it's going to be a nice battle. It should be a lot of fun for us to go watch, a lot of fun for us to go play in.
Going back to the conversation about starting fast, is there a way that you can guard against that in practice and kind of the preparation leading up to the game? Is there something you've identified looking back at like this game and maybe the Seattle game where you guys kind of said, hey, we came out flat, that you say, hey, we're not, oh, that's what we did that week, we're not going to do that again?
No, I just kind of felt like it's been played off the environment. You know, like the how the environment's been in those two games. It was a late showing up crowd in the Seattle game. Then it was kind of a uneasy feeling in the Seattle game, and then they came out with that increased urgency that I talked about when you're talking about the Saints, and we matched it, but we matched it 3 points too late. And it's like you got to find ways to get into there faster and find ways to go out there and make those plays. So I didn't feel the same as Seattle as New Orleans. I felt the increased urgency. I felt us match the intensity. I felt the start fast not really happen. That's why I necessarily didn't agree with Mark on the start fast. It was more like faster first possession.
Is there a way to guard against that? Or
It's some of the things we already do within practice and how you come out. And we always start off everything with a highly competitive thing, a good-on-good situation where the ones go against the ones, things of that nature. And maybe it's a little bit more of that to spark that. But, it'll be always some kind of generated things that coaches do to try to do stuff that we feel good about ourselves. But it's really just the individual players going out there figuring out how to do their jobs faster and better.
How's Youngway's start to the practice week been?
He's been awesome. I don't worry about Youngway at all, I worry about the day that he had. But, him moving forward in his process, it is what it is. You're talking about a locked-in, secure dude in himself, and he's going to go out there and do what he needs to do to fix whatever he needs to fix in the most proper ways that you can possibly do it. And I'm sure some guru will try to tell you how to go out there and fix the kick and stroke and do all those things. I am not going to do that. I'm going to let my guy fight his way through his problems. And like I said that day, man, gunfighters get shot, and he lines up every single day to go do his deal.
Going back to the,
go ahead.
going back to the Ellis conversation, obviously they're different people, Jonah and Caden, but what do you have to do to prepare for some of the intangibles that an Ellis can provide?
Are they different? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, he can do so many different things, just like our guy, on the ball, off the ball, all the type of different things. And you got to go out there and work your system. So really, it's more about us, and more about us just being able to identify the issues that they had. It's not just the Ellis thing. It's just all the guys that he's playing with. They're all legit pass rushers. All can do different things. All can move around. All kind of interchangeable. So it's really the system that he's playing in fits him really well, and they do a nice job. So I'm gonna get his brother to tell me what he's doing. Figure it out.
When you kind of were talking earlier about tackles and corners being most scrutinized, kickers, I'd also add quarterbacks to that grouping.
Quarterback's more with the head coaching grouping. We get too much credit or not enough.
Right.
And so we're out of that deal.
Okay.
This is more tackles and corners. It's like open eye, Tory, on the television. It was the corner's fault.
Right.
It was the tackle's fault. Easy. Kicker's fault. Easy. Quarterbacks and head coaches, we get the whole game before you blame us. It's a little bit different.
Okay. So we'll stick to kickers, tackles, and corners. Is there a specific type of mentality that guys who play that position have to have because of what you're talking about?
There is no doubt, right? There is the mentally tough. They are focused. They have the no blink mentality. They have the horse eye looking at you no matter what's going on, ready to go out there and compete at every high level possible in football. And you look for those type of dogs to go out there and those type of competitors to go out there and play those positions at all time. And that's a part of your ethos when you're talking about the character and the building that goes into that.
Raheem, at center, I know you said you were optimistic about Drew last week. Do you expect him to be ready to go?
I think I'm on the same boat. I'm optimistic about it, this early in the week. But obviously, that requires a workload in practice, and it requires some things you got to do and you got to pass. There's certain things you want to get through to get guys out there to be able to play. And we'll get a nice feel for that at least on Thursday.
If he is ready to play, I'm presuming he is the starter. Right?
Yeah, Dalman is no controversy. Dalman is the starter if he's ready to go. And if he's out there ready to go, I got a lot of confidence in those guys. I've just been so pleased with the way we played at the position with guys being out, and really the whole O-line. No matter who's going out, I mean, you can't argue with the way we played with the amount of injuries that we've had, whether it's been for a few plays, games, segments of games, or whatever the case may be. Been really fired up how the whole offensive line has played. A lot of credit to, again, their position group coaches and led and what they were able to do and all those guys.
In your experience, when a kicker is struggling, when or how did you figure out that it was the better idea for you to, like you said, instill confidence in him and kind of just let him do his own thing, work it out?
It's a little bit different with me and Koo. It's a different history. He's won games for me. He's actually gotten me a job. He's brought me back to a job. So like with Koo, I'm gonna ride that thing till the wheels fall off, and we'll figure that out when that happens.
Anything else? All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you. All right, guys.